Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, we are here today to sit down and talk about my top 3 favorite items, makeup-wise, by category within my collection. So, I did do a video very similar to this where I did my top 3 eyeshadow palettes by category. That I saw in Yellow do. I've seen other people do that. I've seen other people do this where they're doing like their top 3 categories like within makeup. So I just thought that this would be really fun. I will in the description box down below leave the eyeshadow palette version that I did. It was closer to the beginning of this year. So I'm toying with the idea of redoing that video because I do have a lot of like new palettes and my opinions have changed and yada yada yada. But for today we are going to talk about just makeup. So the categories that I have are base makeup, cheek products, eye products, and lip products. So when I say base makeup, I'm really talking about like foundation, primer, setting spray, things like that. Cheek products is obviously like blush, bronzer, highlighters. Eye products, you know, eye primers, mascaras, eyeliners, anything like that. And then lip products, obviously lip liners, lip glosses, lipsticks, anything that falls into that realm. So I will of course leave chapters for you guys so that you can skip around and find exactly what it is that you want. But without any further rambling, let's get into this. Alright, so the first category we will talk about is base makeup. So my top 3 items for my base makeup includes a foundation, a primer, and a setting spray. So let's talk about the primer first. I have the CoverGirl Outlast All Day Primer. So this is the one that has like the pinky red kind of stripe at the top and the black at the bottom. I greatly enjoy this. This is a primer that does feel a little bit more like a moisturizer, and I'm someone who has combination skin. I feel like in the summertime it is much more oily, and then in the winter season it's a little bit more dry. But this is a primer that I can get away with using all year round. I just feel like it makes my makeup look so nice. It makes my skin feel so nice. So I do greatly enjoy that. I feel like it does also help the longevity of my makeup, like especially in the summertime. I feel like when I use this, I don't find my makeup breaking apart as easily on my T-zone as I have found with other primers that I've used. And then like I said, in the winter time, it feels really nice because since it does feel more like a moisturizer, I feel like it doesn't cling to any of those dry patches and it makes the foundation apply a lot more nicely over top of them. I have paired this with a variety of different foundations and I've never had an issue with it like pilling or anything like that. I have went through countless bottles of this. This is something that I will always have within my collection. So obviously it has to be a top 3 base makeup category. Alright, so then my foundation is also from CoverGirl. These are my top 2 like CoverGirl products. These are also some of my obviously top makeup products within my collection. So this is the foundation from the same line as the primer. This is the Outlast All Day foundation. I have mine in the shade 810 Classic Ivory. I just feel like this is such a great shade match for me. This is more of a neutral, cool toned kind of foundation. Absolutely love it. Now it is a full coverage foundation and it is a matte foundation. So if that is not what you were into, you're not really going to love this because it definitely packs a punch. You definitely get that full coverageness out of this. However, this particular foundation never looks cakey on me, and I really appreciate that because I feel like sometimes with the full coverage foundations, especially around areas, at least for me, that are very like active on my face, so like around my mouth and my nose, things like that, I feel like the more full coverage foundations can tend to look a little bit cakey, but like I said, this never has that effect. I feel like too, even though it is a matte foundation, so it does kind of, you know, like with all matte foundations, it kind of blanks out your whole face, but it doesn't make you look as dull as other full coverage matte foundations that I have in my collection, but I would by no means classify this as like a satin foundation. So yeah, this again, like with the primer, I've went through so many bottles of this. I'm almost done with this one and it will be something that I repurchase as soon as I run out of it. Alright, so then the third and final item for my top 3 within my base makeup is a setting spray. So this is from Urban Decay. Still in the box because I haven't yet opened this one, but much like everything else, this is an item that I have used up multiple times within my life. So this is the Urban Decay All Nighter Long Lasting Makeup Setting Spray. I just really enjoy this. I feel like this does such a good job of taking down all of that powderiness, because if you are an oily girl like me, you know you gotta set your face, okay? So this really does help to kind of not only lock everything in too, but like I said, take down that powderiness. I feel like especially in the summer and the heat and the humidity, this holds up so nicely, and I feel like when I don't use it, my makeup doesn't last as long. I also enjoy that the spray nozzle on this is on more of like the finer mister side, so you're not like spraying your face and getting like that jet stream of, you know, setting spray like some of the nozzles can do. This one is very nice. It's not going to ruin any of your makeup, and like I said, it's just going to make everything come together so nicely. And so yes, this is something that is a top 3 item for me. Okay, so let's move on in and talk about cheek products. Now, the only things that I have are 1 blush and 2 highlighters. Surprisingly, I did not put in a bronzer, but I kind of think I know why. It's because I feel like I'm a little bit over bronzer. I just don't feel like I enjoy it quite as much as I used to. And I also feel like bronzer at the end of the day for me just isn't exciting. Like they're all bronzers, you know what I mean? It's not the same as like, well, I have all these different colored blushes and I love all of them. Like all of my bronzers look the same, so I just didn't feel like including any of them into this video. But without any further rambling on that, let me talk to you about the first item that I'm going to include as far as my cheek products go. And these aren't really ranked. This is just the first one that I pulled out. So this is from Benefit. This is their Butterfly Blush. This is a new blush that launched this year within a whole collection that they put out. And so I did pick it up, and I've just absolutely fallen in love with this. So this is a orange blush, and it is probably one of my more used blushes even as we sit here in the fall time. I was pulling this out a lot in the summer, and I'm continuing to pull it out a lot in the fall because fall to me is just orange. It kind of like screams fall, you know? But I also appreciate that within this blush you get like a little bit of like almost like a golden sheen to it. So it's just very pretty. It wears very nicely. It's a blush where you can barely dip your brush into there and really get a nice like soft wash of color, but you can also build this up and make it look really nice and flattering, and I don't feel like it's clownish, you know what I mean? Like I feel like sometimes, especially with like the darker pinky colors, if you have lighter skin, like it just never like blends out quite as nicely, and so, you know, it just looks very stark on your face. But I never find that from this blush, so I greatly appreciate it, greatly enjoy it, and so glad that I went out on a whim and picked up an orange blush. Alright, so then a next item in my top 3 for cheek products is a highlighter from Nabla. Now this is part of their skin glazing line, and this is in the shade Privilege. So this is a very like soft peachy gold kind of highlighter. I feel like this is quite subtle on the face and really just does a good job of giving you kind of that lit from within glow. I really love pairing this not only with that orange blush but with pink blushes. I haven't really tried it with more of my like purpley blushes or more of my pinky brown blushes just yet, but I really do enjoy it, like I said, with the pinks and the oranges. And even though this is a highlighter that is on the more subtle side, you can build it up quite nicely and make it be like a very blinding, intense, like in your face kind of highlighter. So I really appreciate it for that. I feel like this wears so nicely. I don't feel like it accentuates any texture on my skin, and I really do. I recommend the highlighters from this line from Nabla. I don't really recommend the bronzers from them, and that simply boils down to the weight of it. There's 6.5 grams within this, and I feel like for a highlighter, that's a lot of product. That is a great amount of product. It's going to take forever for me to go through this, but with a bronzer, like I'm applying that to more areas of my face. So the bronzer that I have from this line, I feel like I plowed through too quickly in order to justify the like $24 price tag that it was. But yeah, so this is an item that is in my top 3 for my cheek products. Alright, so then rounding out cheek products, I do have some of the ColourPop Super Shock highlighters. I own 5 within my collection. I just brought out all 5. I'm not quite sure. The only one that I know for sure that was limited edition, don't know if you can still get it, is this golden packaging one. This was from the Winnie the Pooh collection, and it's in the shade 100 Acre Wood. I will swatch these out for you guys, but first I just want to tell you why these are my in my top favorite as far as cheek products go. So from the Super Shock line, I really don't like the blushes or the eyeshadows. The blushes are my least favorite. I feel like those dry out so quickly. And then I'm sure we've all experienced a Super Shock eyeshadow drying out on us as well. I have never had that happen with any of the highlighters that I have owned. I have finished off one completely and repurchased it. So the repurchased shade that I finished off completely was Smoke and Whistles. Did not have it dry out on me. And then I have greatly put in some good use on the shades Monster and Stole the Show. And these are still just as creamy as the day like that I first opened them. So I really do think that the formula of the Super Shock highlighters is far superior to the other line of like Super Shock products. So this is Stole the Show, not very much hanging out there at the top. And I love the range that they give you within these highlighters. I feel like they have a good like variety of things to where everyone can find something that they really do enjoy. I also love that you can wear these mixed in with your foundation, mixed in with your primer. You're not going to look like the 10 men. You can also just take either your finger or like a beauty blender, and you can wear these as like regular highlighters on the high points of your face, but you can wear them over your foundation but under a powder, or you can wear them over like a powder as like kind of like a final last step. You can also layer these not only like on themselves but with a powdered highlighter, and again, I feel like they never look like cakey or anything like that. So if I had to pick a favorite shade, I mean, obviously I finished up a whole Stole the Show Super Shock highlighter, and I repurchased it, so I would have to probably say that this is hands down my favorite shade. However, I'm really close to finishing the Stole the Show one as well, and it would be one that I would repurchase too. So I really can't put my finger on like just one to put in this video, and maybe that seems a little bit cheaty. So I brought them all out, and just in case you were curious, there's like 4.2 grams of product within these. Alright, so I did swatch all of these out on my hand. So this first swatch is from Smoke and Whistle. So again, this is the one that I've completely finished off and repurchased. It's just a really pretty like pink champagne type of highlighter. Underneath that, we have the one from the Winnie the Pooh collection, which is 100 Acre Wood. This is such a pretty gold. Like, it does not look brassy. It does not look weird on my face. I just absolutely really enjoy it, and I hate that this is like a limited edition one. I wish this was part of like their full-on like just standard range. Underneath that, we have Monster, which is more of a white-based Super Shock highlighter, but it does have a very nice pink shift to it. So if you've looked at the ABH Subculture palette, the shade Cube that is in there, it very much reminds me of that. And then underneath that, we have the shade Flute Punch. So if the Winnie the Pooh collection kind of had your eye for that goldenness, but it's like no longer available, Flute Punch is a little bit lighter of a gold, but it is still very much a gold, but it has like a little bit of pinkness to it, whereas the 100 Acre Wood is just a straight up true gold. But you could go with Flute Punch and possibly find like a lot of enjoyment out of that one. And then the very last one down here is Stole the Show. So this one, it's kind of a white base, but it's kind of a golden based one. However, what sets this one apart from like Monster or some of these other golden ones is that this one has like some pink and blue shiftiness to it. So it's really pretty. I really do enjoy all of these, like I said. Alright, so let's talk about my top 3 products for the eye category now. I do just want to first say I am still on the hunt for that Holy Grail eyeshadow primer. I do have my eyes on the ones from Glamlight. I've heard really good things about them, but I'm someone who, my eyelids can be a little creasy, we will say. Like, they're not really like wrinkly, like they look smooth with no makeup on, but then as soon as I go in and put down an eyeshadow primer, like it does tend to crease on me. So I'm really looking for one that won't cause any of that. So if you have tried out the Glamlight ones, or you have one that's a really good recommendation, please sound off down below in the comments. So let's get into this. I do have an eye primer type product that I'm going to include in my top 3 for this category. So this is from NYX. This is their Glitter Glue. I absolutely love this. Again, this is something that I've finished off to completion and have repurchased. So I really like this for the fact that it goes on kind of transparent, but you can still see, like once you put your layer down, you can still see it to where you can easily map out the eye look that you want and do like a really nice either faux cut crease or a full-on cut crease with these. I also love that using this has greatly like minimized the amount of fallout that I experience with shimmer shadows. Now I will say I don't go in and like do sweeping motions. I'll put this down and then go in with my brush and do more of a packing motion, but the fallout damage is greatly reduced. So cannot live without this. Highly recommend it. I think if you guys have been here long enough, you've heard me rave about this time and time again, so it should come as no surprise. All right, I'm gonna show you a mascara that is still in its packaging because again, finished up my last one and went out and repurchased this, but I do have another mascara that is currently open, so I don't wanna open this. But this is from Maybelline, so this is part of their Lash Sensational line. That is kind of a tongue twister. But this is the Sky High Volumizing Mascara. I get mine in the black shade. I believe this is something that launched this year, but I have fallen in love with it. This is my Holy Grail drugstore mascara. I was on the hunt for that. I had tried so many different drugstore mascaras, and they all just kind of let me down in one way or another. So I do have blonde eyelashes, and they can be a little bit short and stubby, so I really do like a mascara that can provide me some lengthening and volumizing, and I do get that from this mascara. I don't feel like this transfers to my upper eyelids, even though this is more of like a wet formula, but it's nowhere near as wet as like the Milk Makeup Kush mascara or the REM Beauty mascara that I've tried, but it is still on that more wetter side in case that is something you want to stay away from. But yeah, I just find that this one doesn't transfer. Two, in like the summer and the heat and the humidity, I never felt like it migrated anywhere else on my face. So like I said, this will be something that I continue to repurchase, and I'm so glad that I found a Holy Grail drugstore mascara. All right, so to round out this category, I am going to show you two eyeliners, but I'm going to count them as one. It's kind of like the ColourPop Super Shock Cheeks. So these are the Sephora eyeliners. These are the 12-hour colorful eyeliners. I just own these two. I have the green one, which is T-Rex, and then the brown one, which is Tiramisu. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they have like a pretty good shade selection as far as eyeliners go within their line. I really enjoy these. I feel like they are very creamy. They are very easy to apply, and I've owned these for probably, I think I purchased these either in January or February, and they are still very creamy, still very easy to work with. They last all day in the water line. So this first one is the more chocolate one, which is Tiramisu, and then underneath that is the foresty green one, which is T-Rex. I have to say this T-Rex one is exactly what I was looking for when I was in the market for like a green kind of like eyeliner, but I wanted something a little bit more grungy, and I was finding that they were either too light like other brands' green eyeliners, or they had glitter in them, and I didn't want that. So I really do love this. I've gotten a lot of use out of both of these, and like I said, they just last all day in the water line, and that's even with me having itchy, watery, like runny eyes. So we'll definitely look into getting more of these, and when I finish these ones off, repurchasing these shades. All right, so the last category that we will talk about is lip products. So my first like top three within my collection, have to give it to the NYX Butter Gloss line. I just absolutely love these. I don't feel like these are sticky. They are so comfortable. They're not really like, I don't know, they're not marketed as being like nourishing, right? But they do feel really nice on your lips, and they kind of help to smooth everything out. So when I put these on and my lips feel a little bit more dry, like they definitely feel more comfortable. I love the shade range that NYX has with these. I just feel like whatever shade you were in the market for, go seek it out from NYX because you are going to find it. I have finished off two of these, I think, and they, even though they look very small, don't be deceived. Like, it takes forever and a day to finish these off. And I will tell you that the packaging of this, that's not like a sticker, like that's the actual gloss that's in there. So as you finish it off, like you'll see a lot of windowing, and this will be like a clear component. But either way, so let me swatch out these shades for you. I have the more brown shade, which is Madeline. I really love pairing this with not only like my more pinky brown lipsticks, but also my brighter pink lipsticks. Like, I just feel like this Madeline shade being on the brown side, it kind of takes down like that dramatic, stark pinkiness, and makes it a little bit more of a nude color, a little bit more wearable. So then the other one that I have is Vanilla Cream Pie. Now this is one, I don't tend to often top this one off on lipsticks. I really like this one on its own because it is on the more like hot pink, like Barbie doll pink in your face side, but having it just solo on my lips, it's not as like bam in your face, and I really do enjoy that. Then I have Dreamsicle, is that what it's called? Orange Sickle. I always want to call it Dreamsicle for some reason, but this one is a very pretty, vibrantly orange one. I had gotten this one because I have some matte like liquid lipsticks that lean more on the orange side, and they were just super uncomfortable. I love to top off my liquid lipsticks with glosses, so this came in and saved the day. It's a beautiful orange one. And then the last one I have is a little mini of the Creme Brulee. So again, this one's kind of a pinky one, but it's much more of like a softer pink than that vanilla cream pie. So here they are swatched out on my hand in that order. So Madeline, vanilla cream pie, dreamsicle, and, or no, orange sickle. See, I keep doing it. Orange sickle, and then what was this last one? My brain. Creme brulee. So yeah, those are my NYX butter glosses. And if I had to pick a favorite one out of the ones that I have right now, since we did that with the ColourPop Super Shock highlighters, I would have to say my favorite one probably would be the vanilla cream pie, just because even though I don't really wear it on top of lipsticks, it's a great shade to just throw and like throw in my purse and like go out the door with, you know? All right, so speaking of liquid lipsticks in a way, let's talk about the one that I am including in this top 3 category. So this is from Rare Beauty. This is one of their lip souffles. This is in the shade Fearless. Now this is just a little mini guy, but I've had this for going on 2 years and I still haven't finished it. There is a ton of product in these mini guys, so I have to give it to Rare Beauty for that. You really do get to test out and really try out their products and make sure that you like them before committing to the full size. So like I said, this is the shade Fearless. It's right here. I absolutely love these like plummy brown kind of shades. This is what I would classify as my perfect nude shade. I know some people might look at this and be like, well, I would only wear that in the fall. I rock this in the spring, the summer, the whatever, the winter, the fall. Let's just go ahead and say all the seasons, because I absolutely love it. So even though this is a liquid lip, it feels so interesting. Like the texture, like it's almost like, I don't know, like a little bit like of a marshmallow. Does that make sense? But it's not sticky. It feels kind of puffy on your lips. And when it dries down, it's still very comfortable. Like your lips do not feel like the Sahara Desert in any way. So I greatly enjoy that, because as I'm sure you all have experienced from liquid lipsticks, that tends to be the case. Your lips just feel very dry and like, ooh, I need something on top of them. But not with this. I have worn this on its own. Now I do typically tend to put that Madeline lip gloss from NYX on top of it. But like I said, it's so comfortable, I could get away with wearing it on its own. I feel like it fades really nicely. It doesn't fade patchy, you know? It almost leaves like a little bit of a staining to my lips. So typically when I do wear this, I just put it on in the morning and then I go about my day and I don't even fool with reapplying it, because I still feel like I have a wash of color even like hours into the day. So would highly recommend this. All right, so then to round this off, our last grouping of lip products comes from ColourPop. So these are their Luxe Lip Oils. I have 4 of them. So I have the purpley one, which is the shade Hey. Then we have the more peachy, orangey one, which is Hot Spark. Then we have the more brownie nude one, which is Playa or Playa? Playa. I think it's Playa, because isn't Playa La Playa in Spanish, like the beach? Either way, then we have like the peachy one, which is called Peachy. So I really do enjoy these. I feel like these are very nourishing. I feel like I am going to greatly appreciate having all 4 of these as we approach the drier winter months, because like I said, I just feel like these really do help combat that like tight and dry feeling that my lips tend to experience this time of year. I love that all of these give you like a soft wash of color, so you can wear them on their own, but don't expect like amazingness. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this purpley shade Hey does kind of give me the best color payoff, but it is the darkest. I feel like the lighter that you go within this shade range, the more it's just going to look like you have a very light gloss on your lips. So if you are looking for like huge color payoff, I don't think you'll enjoy these. But these wear beautifully on their own, and I also love topping them off on different lip products, especially my liquid lipsticks. I feel like ColourPop has a pretty good shade range in these, so if you were interested in them, I do think that they are worth it. I feel like they are a multi-use kind of product, you know, so that was why I wanted to include them in this video. Let me swatch out this last one called Peachy, and then I can show you the swatches. However, like I said, these lighter ones, I don't know if you'll really be able to see on camera, because they really just do offer like a very soft wash of color. So here they are swatched out on my hand. This first one is the Hey. It's got 3 Y's at the end of it, so that's why I feel like I have to say it that way. Then the next one is the Playa shade. So it's the more like nudie brown one. And I think hopefully you can tell on camera, these 2 do offer like the most like color payoff, the most impact. So then underneath that one, we have the Hot Spark one, which is more of like an orangey one. And I will say I did make the mistake. I picked up this one in Hot Spark thinking that it would be a lot of like intense rich color payoff, and it really wasn't, and this is the more orangey one. So I was really bummed out about that, but I used it up completely and repurchased it because I did end up falling in love with them. So then yeah, this bottom last one is the shade Peachy. So that is it. That rounds out this video of my top 3 items within every category. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Let me know your answers down in the comments down below, or if you happen to have already filmed a video like this or you want to film a video like this, let me know so that I can make sure to go check it out, because I really love these types of videos. And like I said, I will probably, here in the month of November, probably do an updated version of this for my eyeshadow palettes. So that is it. I appreciate you making it all the way to the end. I hope you're having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.